gonna be the food trucks all over again. Get your head in the game before you wreck your future.
The ambition is getting money past the king of the D. I wanted it so when we spread our wings, we can go anywhere we want it without being seen. Quote from B-Mickie that opens the episode, and then we cut to being able to see Lamar telling us exactly what it is as he pops up on Meech at the River Rouge market, seemingly having the drop on Meech before his hired hitters pop out of nowhere and hold him down, sending Lamar running for his life. At the beginning of every episode, the quote that they give sets the tone, and as mentioned in the quote prior, this episode was really about how do Meech and Terry diversify, pull back, remain invisible, scale that organization so that they can ascend to new heights. Because in all honesty, we tired of seeing it, y'all, but they're tired of the little pettiness on the streets. This whole thing, Lamar has gone to a whole nother level, and they picked the right mofo for it because he is down to get gutter dirty, as we saw in this episode. Terry goes to see one of his advisors to talk about the college fair coming up and asks for an opportunity as Meech is meeting up with a new possible distributor because of course they trying to grow their business. They trying to figure out how they keep the money coming in and even make more money by doing things differently. But this distributor thinks that he is too young and passes. Oh, and did I mention that Lamar was waiting outside of Terry's school for him and hoping to hit him up, but is dissuaded by the fact that it's a school or there's kids, too many witnesses, or too many people that he would have to kill at once. I don't know what exactly stopped him, but he stops. And Tiny is apparently staying at the church and is connected to Pastor Swifty. And while Charles don't like Pastor Swifty, we see he is a committed member of the congregation doing what he has to do to be of service. But Pastor Swifty is definitely shifty, y'all, and we hate to see it. Now, moments after we see all of that to give us a really good grounding of where we are in the episode when we start, we see Lamar roll up on his boys, on the Charles Street boys, and he wants them to get in the game, help him take down Meech and Terry. He comes up like, yo, I need y'all to distract these guards, and Tiny like, nah. For a split second, y'all, I thought it was going to go how it went in the episode prior, but Tiny was like, nah, that's your problem, this is what it is, pulls the gun out, and then like, don't get it confused because everybody's with me this time, we were on the same accord. So in one swift motion, Lamar has been ousted as the leader of the 12th Street boys. This is also by way of Meech's help because Meech gives him, a really great price on a brick that allows him to be able to be the one to fuel the organization. Whoever has the money or the product is king. And right now that's Tiny. So Lamar is ousted, and that just adds fuel to the flame. In this episode, y'all, all we really are seeing by way of Lamar is more and more things adding fuel to the flame. And it's so interesting to see how quickly he rose, but then also how quickly he is falling. Now, before anybody can do anything in this potential shootout, Detective Bryant shows up and clears everything out. So he definitely came to the rescue. He pulls up Lamar, and it's very interesting that he did so because it seemed like they was definitely cool and he wanted something from him, but it wasn't clear to me. I'm gonna go back and rewatch, but it wasn't clear to me exactly what he wanted. What stuck out the most to me from that conversation is that Detective Bryant said, Lamar, you stupid, and stupid always gets caught. And that was giving me foreshadowing vibes for sure. Now, in trying to diversify, grow their organization, do things differently, and still make more money, Terry and Meech get into it because Terry don't want to give B-Mickie a brick because he don't want to reward a dude for going missing and complicating their lives with killing J-Mo. And I'm just going to really need Terry and Meech to get on the same accord because ultimately, when we get towards the end of the episode, we see B-Mickie respond to what Terry thought was best in a way that is not going to be beneficial to anybody. It won't even be beneficial to B-Mickie, right? If he would have given him the key versus charging him for the key, that would have, like Terry said, made him feel like he was an equal. And that's all B-Mickie wants. Like, B-Mickie wants to be a brother. B-Mickie wants to be family. It's the best and the worst type of person that you can have in your crew because while you have them as family, they are going to be loyal. But the moment that you make them feel like they're anything else, then they're worse than an enemy. And there's still so much talk going around the internet about it could have been B-Mickie that shot Terry. And to me, this episode kind of gives evidence towards that conversation because it's clear that B-Mickie wants to be considered Meech's brother. And in that case, he could see Terry as a problem. He could see Terry as like never really being about this life. Like B-Mickie is really quick to pull a trigger. He's really like he'll fly off the handle without, thinking about anything. Terry is a little bit more calculated, and while he has gotten more aggressive as the series progressed, he struggled with burying a dead body. He struggled with seeing people die. Like he struggles with the violence of it all. And we gotta imagine that B-Mickie have seen this too as they were all coming up, and he's like, yo, this dude ain't me. Like I'm your better partner. That totally could be the case. But I don't know, y'all. That tweet that I did last week is still going viral when I pointed out that Lamar did not know where to go and find Terry or Meech, so he could not have been the one that shot Terry in the first episode. And right now I'm getting a lot of responses still that are saying it's either B-Mickie that shot him or Kato. Now I don't think that Kato shot him to start, but again, after the start of this episode, I am starting to think that B-Mickie could have been the one that shot him. We all knew that Lamar was crazy, but I wasn't able to fully see how cognitively he is on a downward spiral, unraveling quickly until the scenes with Mo when he spazzes out after she doesn't just take him back, but then calms himself after catching Zoe seeing him spaz from the window. Yo, dude has nothing else left to lose. Y'all done put Lamar in the worst place. Like, this is a worse Lamar than we seen in episode 1. Fresh out the crazy house, trying to grasp for power. Now he has ascended to power. He has gotten a taste of what his family could look like, and that person is willing to die and kill everybody just to get back to that feeling. This is totally different from before he even knew what was possible. Like, well, he thought it was possible, but before he actually tasted it. Now he tasted it. Y'all gonna have to put Lamar down and put him down pronto. And speaking about, him willing to kill everybody, he's getting his Lionel Richie on. Sounding amazing, by the way. I'm gonna give you that, sir. You can sing. But then he also turns around and kills Slick. And I don't know if y'all are confused by that, but I am, because Slick was the only one who was riding for him. Now, mind you, Slick does play the 50 a little bit, but it seemed like he has been loyal to Lamar this whole entire time. So the killing of Slick just seemed really, really unnecessary. But y'all let me know in the comment section down below, why do you think that he actually killed Slick? Before the episode ends though, he also attempts to abduct Nicole with the plans of killing her, but he winds up killing Darius in the process. And this just took everything up a notch, because yes, Meech, y'all did what you called a soft kidnapping of Zoe. But Lamar is ready to do a hard kidnapping and killing of Nicole. So what y'all finna do? She only got away because Darius fought for his love and became the sacrifice. And poor Nicole, she just watched her first love killed while defending her moments after they have their very first kiss. Can we get the therapist on the line ASAP? Because sis is gonna need it. Also in this episode, we get to see Terry actually come clean with his parents. Meech actually goes and seeks out their dad, because after finding out in last episode about Terry being involved and how involved Terry was, and I think also seeing them keys on that bed, Lucille has had it. She ain't coming up out this room. She is stressed. She is praying, and she don't know how to cope. But throughout the episode, we get to see that storyline progress. Lucille and Charles come back together. He set trips and shows all of his toxic masculinity when dealing with the lawyer. And I'm gonna have to talk about that in another video, because I ain't gonna give you no space here, Charles, but you need your ass tagged for that one, because that was utterly ridiculous and disrespectful. But then ultimately, by the end of the episode, both Lucille and Charles confront Terry, and he decides to just go ahead and level with them and be honest about what's going on. And in that conversation, some things that stood out to me were that Lucille said poverty is not a scapegoat for immorality, and Terry says that people are going to get high regardless. So we know exactly where they stand. I think it was interesting, somebody on Twitter pointed out that ultimately their dad, Charles, becomes a co-conspirator. So at some point he finds a change in belief, or he turns over a new leaf. But for right now, where we are in the series, and I think definitely in season 1, Charles is not with it. He has a problem. And he also convinces Lucille that they need to make a grab to try to save Terry, because Meech is beyond saving. Now, really quick, going back to Lamar for a second, specifically when he robs one of the corner groups, right? The moment that Kato and Dink leave to go get Coney Island is when Lamar shows up to take their stash. And y'all, it wasn't until I watched it the second time that I think that Kato actually orchestrated that. And now I'm just like, girl, you haven't been back to your apartment. You're ducking him out, which is what that note was that B-Mickie found, which she has to ultimately explain later on in the episode. I don't know if she's actually falling for B-Mickie, but she's definitely playing like she's falling for B-Mickie in a major way. So you figured out what your whole thing is. So why are you to still parlaying with Lamar, or maybe she's not. Maybe it was just a coincidence, because I'm also thinking like, well, how would she have communicated, because we haven't seen any of that. I don't know, but I need Kato to come clean with somebody. At first I was like, okay, she need to come clean with Meech and Terry, but if she's more comfortable with B-Mickie, then she need to come clean with B-Mickie, because somebody needs to help her get from up under Lamar, and somebody needs to go ahead and take Lamar out. Now, I personally don't want Kato to die, but there's plenty of people on these good Briana internets that are ready for her to go, because sis has definitely been playing both sides. What would you have done if you were in her position? If you were Kato, what would you have done differently? Let me know in the comment section down below. But alright, y'all, that is my breakdown of episode 6 of Black Mafia Family BMF on STARZ. Episode 6, titled Strictly Business, was definitely a change in pace from episode 5. Episode 5 is still my favorite, so if you haven't already, go ahead and check out my breakdown for that. It's on the channel right now, ready for you to get into it. But it still gave us a ton of information and kept the story going. Let me know what you thought about episode 6 in the comment section down below. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss any of my BMF coverage. It's your good sis Erica Vane. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.